Morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday to you. Happy new week. Happy new month. Happy new year. It's a new you, and I'm excited to see you over at Arise and Build for our day one. This is our first day in Arise and Build. Make sure that you hit follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel, that you join our school app, which is the details is in the broadcast of the video. The information is in the info section of the broadcast. Make sure you join our school app. Make sure you invite some others to be a part of this. We'll be here at Arise and Build Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's 7 a.m. if you're on the East Coast, and that is 4 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. We're glad to have you all tuned in wherever you're tuning in from. Make sure you drop your city and state that you're tuning in from. Let us know where you're listening to this broadcast from. If you're live, put it in the live chat. If you're watching the replay, you can just put it in the comments. We want to see where you tuned in from. This is a time of a coaching call. You can watch the introduction to the YouTube channel on a previous video, but this is a time, 20 to 25 minutes that we'll take out of your day every morning to arise and build, to put our mind and our heart and our faith and our movement in an action of forward. And so this will be like a 25 minute coaching session, spiritual faith-based practical principles and life application. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Invite some people, send the link out, let them know that we're live and we're on right now to Arise and Build day one. And today I want to talk to you about waiting is not a strategy. Um, I want to start with something that may challenge your thinking a little bit, because in church, we've kind of got this church brain that waiting feels spiritual, that we need to, those that wait on the Lord, and we feel like waiting means being still. Be still and know that I am God. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And oftentimes we feel like waiting, standing still, and being still is very spiritual. But waiting without movement is not faith at all. It's avoidance, dressed up in prayer language, dressed up in holy garments, dressed up in church brain. Some of us have been saying, I'm waiting on God, when the truth is, God has been waiting on us. Waiting is not a plan. Waiting is not a strategy. Waiting is only powerful when it's paired with preparation and movement. This year is not about doing more, it's about moving when God speaks instead of postponing or delaying our obedience, because nothing changes until something moves and we make the change. So I want to talk to us for a few moments. The first core truth I want to talk to us about in this waiting is not a strategy is that faith is activated by movement. Faith without works is dead. We need to put some feet to our faith. In Genesis, God didn't wait for the environment to be perfect. He spoke and then he moved. Light came because God acted on his word. Faith is not a passive agreement. Faith is a responsive action. A lot of people believe God. Very few people move when God speaks. Here's the tension. Waiting feels safe. So oftentimes we want to play safe, and so we wait. We get into a holding pattern, which is really a snare or a trap of the enemy, while movement feels risky. And oftentimes we don't want the risk. But as a businessman and CEO, I realize that the bigger the risk, the greater the reward. So sometimes we have to take those risks, like Peter. We're going to have to step out on the boat and trust that God got us, because he wouldn't have called us if he wasn't going to make the world, the elements, the situation conducive for what he called. Builders don't wait for perfect conditions. We move with imperfect conditions sometimes imperfect clarity, but we move in faith knowing that the author and the finisher has the whole detailed story. If you wait until you feel ready, guess what? You'll be waiting forever. Let's just think about it for real. We've waited and waited and waited. Times wasn't good. Things wasn't happening. The children this, the parents this, the spouse this, the job this, my money this. We have all of these reasons why we can't be ready. And guess what? Like the man at the pool of Bethesda, these reasons are valid. You don't have nobody to put you in the water. And when the water's troubled, somebody does get in before you. All of your reasons are valid. Let me help you. Every reason, every excuse that you have on why you have not begun is valid. Let me not take away from the validity. It does not mean that it is truth, though, because while we have valid reasons of why we cannot do what we know that God has called us to do, what we know that we've been purposed to do, and what we know that we need to do, while those reasons are valid, let's begin to take a deeper look to what makes those reasons valid in our lives. For the man at the pool of Bethesda, he thought he was sick. But the reality of it is, we don't know the condition he was in, because I don't personally believe that it was a physical condition. I believe it was a mental limitation. It was a mental imprisonment, which most of us find today, which makes our reasons valid, because we're trapped in our own mental limitation. We got to get beyond those things. Because if we wait until you feel ready, you'll never be ready. And we'll always be putting off for tomorrow what we need to do today. Ask yourself this. What if God already gave you enough instructions for the next step, but not the whole plan? And our analytical brain, in our need to be in control, we need the whole plan before we can start. But the Bible declares that the steps of a good man are ordered, and we must trust that each step brings what we need for the next step. I often call God's plan a GPS. God's provisioning service. When I put in, I have an iPhone, I'm apostolic, and if you're not apostolic, I'm praying for you. But I put in my Apple Maps the direction of the location of where I'm going. And when I go, it tells me step by step what I need to do. It doesn't give me the next step until I've completed the last step. And oftentimes we are waiting, quote unquote, for God to give us the next step or the next direction. And I beg to ask, maybe, just maybe, we haven't taken the last step, which is why he haven't given us the next one. What if he already gave us enough for the next step, but we're waiting to see the whole plan, and now we are in delayed obedience, which is blatant disobedience? Because God rarely gives the full blueprint up front. Because let's be honest, if God gave us the full blueprint on some things, we would back out of it. Beep, beep, beep. We'll come out of that thing so quickly because it was seemingly require too much of us, which is why God has to give it to us little by little and call us into a greater by walking us step by step, so that we won't forfeit, abandon, miscarry, or mess up what God wants to do in our lives. He gives us steps to see who will move, how we'll move, and when we'll move. Begin to take a step. Truth number 2, waiting can become a cover-up for fear. And many of us are here today. Many of us are right here today. We're not going to like this, but I just got to tell it to us. Not all waiting is spiritual. Some waiting is fear that learned how to quote scriptures. Some waiting is fear that learned how to dress up, quote unquote, in false humility. Some waiting is fear learning to mask itself as a spiritual movement. The reality of it is that we have a fear of failing, a fear of being seen, a fear of success, a fear of starting and not finishing, a fear of being responsible for the outcome. So we wait, we pray, we journal, we talk about it, we seek wise counsel, we prepare to prepare, but we don't ever move. And fear loves delay, because delay keeps you from discovering what God can actually do through you. And the longer you delay, the more fearful you'll become. You don't overcome fear by thinking. You overcome fear by moving. Have you ever heard it said? My grandmother used to say it. My grandfather used to say it. And I know somebody around you have said it. Sometimes you just got to do it fearfully. Sometimes you just got to be scared while you do it, but you need to do it. I came to tell you today, be scared, but get it done. Movement is the only thing that can expose the lie of fear. Stagnation protects those lies. As long as you're stagnant, you're protecting the lie that fear told you. Today, you got to make a decision that I'm getting up out of this. I'm going to walk out of this. And how I walk out of this is I do it, even if I'm scared. Last truth today is clarity comes after obedience, not before it. Clarity comes after obedience, not before it. This is very big. Many people say, I'll move when it's clear. I'll go forward when I can see it. When I understand it, when I come into the knowledge of it, when it makes sense to me, then I'll do it. But in the kingdom, clarity follows obedience, which means that God will give you an instruction. You need to obey the instruction. And the more you obey, the clearer the path becomes. You don't get confidence before action. Confidence is built by action. Many of us need confidence. We need confidence to do what God called us to do. We need confidence to say what God called us to say. We need confidence to be where God called us to be. But the only way that confidence is going to come is if, like Nike, we just do it. Got to bust the move. Faith need feet. You don't get certainty before you move. Certainty comes while you're moving. You know, while you're in that thing, while you're doing it, while you're saying it, while you're live, while you're writing it, while you're preaching it, while you're teaching it, while you're singing it, that thing becomes certain to you. It becomes a knowing in your knower. But that comes as you begin to obey and move and go forward. God reveals more, watch this, when he can trust your movements. So I got a question. Can God trust your movements right now? Can he trust that when he speaks, you're not going to need 29 confirmations before you move? Can he trust that when he says something, you're not going to need 50 people, a prophet from every country and continent? You're not going to need your prayer partner, your spouse, or your children to come into agreement with it. But because God said it, it's settled. Can God trust that mindset, that mentality, that posture in you? That's the question. Because to whom much is given, much is required. And if you want God to give you more, You're going to have to fulfill the more requirement. God's not going to give you more instruction and you've not obeyed the last one. He's not going to give you a more information and you've been devaluing, mishandling, dishonorable to the information he's already given you. If you want more direction, you need to take the steps that you already know. God needs to be able to trust the movement that you got. I often say this, and I want to share this with you all, is that the way to follow God is to listen to the last instruction and follow it until he gives you another instruction. Many people are in this pattern right now, and they're like, I want to hear God. I want to know God. I want to know what he's saying, but I'm not hearing it. I don't understand it. It's like a silent period. And I tell people all the time, in those silent periods, you need to follow the last instruction until you get another one. God didn't change his mind about what he last said. Follow that until he says something different. Now let's be practical for a moment. I gave you all of that great spiritual wisdom, but this is a coaching call. Arise and Build is a coaching call, by the way. Let's make this a little practical. I want you to honestly answer this without overthinking. Don't overthink it. Just honestly answer it. What have you been waiting to start that you already know you should have started? Not next year, not someday, but right now. Don't overthink it. You know you should have started this already. You can put it in the comments. You can write it in your notebook. And I am going to release an Arise and Build notebook so that when we're in these sessions, you can write it in. So you'll have the opportunity of that really soon to get. But you always need a notebook in this because this is a coaching session. So you may get strategy, you may get deliverance, you may get therapy. You don't know what you're going to get in these calls. So just always have a notebook. But write down right there. Don't overthink it. What do you know you should have already started? Just write it down. Then ask yourself this. What is the smallest, minute step of obedience that I can take today, this week, this month to fulfill that? See, oftentimes we don't believe that we can walk on water, so we never get out of the boat. But we need to be able to take it one small step at a time, which is why God gives us small directions. Because if we think of getting out of the boat and walking on water, we would never get out. We'd be captive of our limitations. But when Jesus tells Peter to come, Peter doesn't think about walking on water. He thinks about stepping out of the boat because Jesus called him. Stop thinking about walking on water and start thinking about what is the smallest, quickest step of obedience that I can take this day, this week, this month to completing this assignment. Not the whole vision, not the full plan, just the next move. What is the step I can take right now? Builders move in steps, not in leaps. You just simply need to take a step. Don't worry about leaping. Don't worry about walking on water. Just put one foot in front of the other. This year, you're not waiting for permission. You're not waiting for conditions to be perfect. You're not waiting for fear to disappear. You're choosing movement over delay. I'm not going to delay. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to go and move and take what belongs to me. Because waiting is not a strategy, but movement is. And when you move, guess what? Heaven responds. The earth yields its increase. All it's waiting on is you to bust a move. Right? So make a decision today that you're going to stop waiting and you're going to do something today to do what God already called you to do. I put these I put these declarations, and every day I'm going to put these declarations in our school community. So you need to make sure that you join the school community. The link is in the bio. The link is in the description of the video. But I put these declarations in there, and I want you to go through the day giving these declarations. And every day you'll have declarations for you to say. Today's declaration, day one of Arise and Build, where we're talking about um, waiting is not a strategy. The declaration is for us today that I refuse to delay what God has already spoken. I move in faith, never in fear. I act with wisdom and with courage, and I build now, and I don't wait till later. I create my now. Everybody say that. Type it in the comments. Put it in the live chat. I create my now. All right, that's all for today. Remember, we'll be here Monday through Friday with the Rise and Build right here on the Creating Your Now YouTube channel, right here in the Create Your Now school community. Make sure you join both. Stay connected. Subscribe, like, tag, share, all of the things that you know to do. I want to help you not just get there spiritually, but I want every part of you, the total man, mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, and spiritually, and socially, get to every place that God has for you. And so until next time, let's arise and let's build.